Okay, the Shishkin bell's still in that. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Finish Line Podcast and a weekend preview. We're here to look at the Winter Millions meeting. We have 4 of their main races to look over, and we're going to give another Cheltenham Festival anti-post selection at the end of the show. Before we get onto that, we'll do a bit of roll call. Tom, how are we?
Yeah, good. Busy. Busy. Stressed. Need a haircut.
You need to calm down with the haircuts now. You need to get as much time as you can out of that now.
You just have to keep it short at this stage because it's so bad on top that you have to keep the sides short so the top doesn't look too bad. In for a haircut tomorrow. I don't know. Is there anyone else like this about Cheltenham? Is anyone not that buzzed for it?
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday. It's like, I don't know whether there's so much talk about it over the last few years, and then there's no real superstars like coming up. I don't know whether it'll pick up now after the DRF or not. I don't know.
I kind of think that's it. And then I don't want to be. I don't think I can complain then because I'm half complaining because there's no superstars, and I'm like.
And then you complain when there's 1 to 3 shots. So how do we win, Tom?
And then you complain when there's 1 to 3 shots, Sean. So you can't have it both ways. So I just feel like I'm being greedy. I mean, what do I want? Do I want 4 runner fucking novice chasers with 1 to 3 shots and Ballyburn beating 5 of his stablemates on the snaff? I don't know. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm just not that buzzed for it. I'm looking forward to the DRF. That's going to be a good weekend. That's going to be a good weekend. But I'm kind of looking forward to that for the crack of the lads as well. That's a real good lads weekend. So I already know. This is one of these, Sean, right? Well, what happens is I end up having a load of people to go and see and go and talk
I know. I know firsthand, Tom.
He turns into Harry fucking Houdini.
All I get is abuse then, right? I always end up back at the hotel for dinner. If they only see me once or twice at the races, I'm back at the hotel for dinner and I'm there for the night, right? I got a text yesterday or the day before from one of my best mates from England who's a big racing fan. And he said, mate, did I tell you I'm coming to the Dublin Race Festival? I was like, the lads.
Why is just bringing me the lads? Feck that posh part up in the stands. The crack.
I'm telling them now.
I'm just adding more people to the list of have to see. I daren't text Nat and see if he's coming because if Nat's coming, I'm screwed.
Of course he's coming.
But yeah, other than that, I'm grateful.
Poor Patrick is still at the top of the stand waiting for his point from 2024.
Yeah, that was bad. I'll give you that much. I didn't come back with the points.
Stand there for half an hour. What's this fella gone? See him back at the bloody meal. Sean, how are you? We'll touch on what Tom was saying there. You looking forward to the festival or lukewarmish? And the other question is that a lot of people want to know in the chat, what in the name of God are you going to turn up on this year? Are you going to wear the red coat? Is it going to be the spiky shoes? I cannot wait to see what you wear this year.
Right, we'll touch on the Clouding Force is always hilarious when I get out there. The lads to be waiting and judgments are made. Thank God we have thick skin.
That's because you dressed like a drug dealer, to be quite blatantly honest with you. You dressed like a drug dealer from Dublin.
So Tom gives me stick and then he disappears for the day and then you just get to give Tom stick for disappearing. So it's great because then it's just deflected all onto Tom. You say, oh, where's Tom? And Dave's lost the head immediately. So but in terms of the festival, I'm really looking forward to it. I think as Tom touched on, you can't have the best of both worlds. You can't have your cake and eat it. You either want 1 to 3 shots, small fields, or you want wide open competitiveness. And I think the wide open competitiveness is coming, and I brutally, to be honest, I think it's genuinely wide open in terms of it's not those 2 or 3. You have 4, 5, 6 horses at the top of these markets, like the novice hurdles, especially the Supreme and Ballymore, that were 6 weeks away and people still can't make a decision. I think that's why it's so in and out. And you have a Dublin Racing Festival to come, there's people holding their powder for that. And then after that, I suppose you're going to have the conundrum of who wins the 2 miler and does he go up to 2.5 miles? you're going to have that after as well. I think it's great to see the prices about. As you said, like I know Salvador Mundi we could probably touch on is at the top of the market, but if you're willing to take on him and you're willing to take on the new line, I think you're finding a bit of prices that you wouldn't have thought you'd find at this time of the year in a couple of years gone past. But yeah, I think it's good. The handicaps, you start to pick out your L1 or 2 handicap picks now. I think you know what sort of horses are being lined up at this stage, praying that they're getting the 5th run or the 4th run to get into the novice races or the handicaps. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know what I say could be a small part of the reason why there's not much talk, well, not much excitement? There is the horses there, but we don't know who's going against who. Is Lossie Mountain and Bright Days going champion hurdle? Is Factor Foil, is he definitely going to the Gold Cup, or is he going to drop back to the Ryanair? Same with the novices with the new line and Yellow Clay. Like, it's all up in the air. That could be a part to play with as well. But look, come 1:30 on Tuesday of Cheltenham, we will be giddy as like school kids waiting up for Christmas. Right, Sean touched on there. Salvador Mundi won the Moscow Flyer over the weekend. A lot of 50-50 kind of response to it. A lot of people, including myself, thought that was not the performance of a Supreme Novice Hurdle winner. A lot of people thought he done a lot wrong, but still won. Tom, we touch on you. For a horse going into the Supreme, I don't want a horse doing a lot wrong but still winning. I want a horse that's doing a lot right, travelling, jumping, and putting a race to bed rather than what Salvador Mundi's done.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I'm just going to have a look what price it's. I actually think he drifted back out a little.
7-2, I think.
7-2, yeah. I know he came in stupid. I think he came in 5-2 at one stage. Stupid short. But yeah, he's gone back out to 7-2. Some bookmakers took the opinion that they should cut him into 3-1 and cut Romeo Coolio into 6-1 as well, which was an interesting move. I'd love to know how you justify that one. But look, for me, I actually laid him at the weekend when he was down at the start and he was fucking around with his head. You could see I didn't really think anyone really wanted to go on. So I have a right chance of getting this lad beat now at a short price, and sure, down the back turning in. I said, yeah, I've made money here. I don't want a horse going into a Supreme wearing a hood, a tongue tie. And I see what they mean about the jumping. I'll take that point on board. He jumped a lot better in the Triumph. He's jumped better on other occasions as well. But that's kind of when did he settle in the Triumph? He didn't really settle in the Triumph, but they probably went a bit more of a pace. But he was just so keen. Clearly got a hell of an engine. I don't want to take that away from him. But if I'm going to be backing a favourite for the Supreme, I don't want to be going, oh, yeah, he can do X, Y, and Z wrong, but he's got a big engine. I'll take him on with something. The DRF's going to be interesting because like he's not going to go there. I don't know if Romeo Coolio is going to go there. Kopek de Boer is very interesting. Work Ahead is going straight to the Supreme. K. Dohi, I don't know where he's going to go. The New Lion, unless it's soft, is going to go to the Turners. Kel Histor ran fine, didn't he? But we wouldn't be shouting Supreme winner. So it's wide open. But it's the kind of thing that I'm going to be taking a view on an outsider. If things don't really materialize or change after the DRF, I'm going to be taking a chance on an outsider each way because Salvador Mundi could go and win. I can't say that he couldn't, but to do that much wrong, I don't want to be going into Supreme back in a favourite either.
Like, it kind of has the feel of a year when LeBake won it. There was no real standout. The talking horse was a Mellon then. He was the talking horse. Sean, look, to me, the only people that are really happy with that performance are people who are sitting on 20-1, 25, 33-1 slips. Like, what do you make of the whole thing?
Yeah, in terms of the performance of the weekend, I think he thought he'd done an awful lot wrong. I'd say the positives you take from it is he went an absolute snail's pace, and he's had to quicken up twice. He looked beat jumping the second last, I've got to be honest with you. He's looked beat and Paul's had to get down into him, and then all of a sudden you see Paul arriving off the bend and you realise he's a bit under the bonnet than you thought. He's quickened up to get to him, he's quickened up to go, boy. I'd say that's probably the biggest positive I took from the whole race. Other than that, he's jumping. I went and had a look. Like, his jumping in the Triumph wasn't great. It wasn't the slickest, and I know he's gone around Tipperary and got his own way out in front. So like you're willing to take that with a bit of a pinch of salt. And then he's gone back here, and I know they were saying they're trying to hold on to him, but he didn't exactly like he let him go down to the last, and he wasn't great at that either. And I know he's been hitting a couple throughout, but I just say like he did open him up and let him go at the last, and he didn't jump that great. My biggest thing with him, I don't know, I couldn't figure out in the end. I don't know if anyone did. There was a discrepancy between the race and post and at the races. Was that the first time the tongue tie had been on? That was on with the
It
horse.
was on in Cheltenham, no?
Cheltenham, yeah.
Was it okay? Because at the races didn't have it, and Racing Post did have it, so I just wasn't sure. But that going on, and he just, I don't know what it is for him. I'd be majorly concerned that he's going to lose the head before you even get to the start. You've seen this with so many horses before, and they're being burnt by that parade ring beforehand. First race at Cheltenham, the raw going up, that could absolutely explode his head before the race even starts. That would be my biggest concern with him now. It'd be his whole attitude, mentality before the race. I don't know if he'd be able to handle that Cheltenham ring, and I think if you see him getting giddy before the start, I'd be big time worried.
Yeah, I when people are on about saying that a faster pace is going to suit him and help him settle better, I went back and watched the Triumph. That was not a slow Triumph hurdle whatsoever. And as you said, Sean, look, his jumping wasn't great. I think it was the third last. He absolutely bunny hopped and landed on his hind legs. I would see the point of view where people are saying this thing has a real chance if he finished like a train up the hill in the Triumph. If you go back and watch it, he's not even in the picture coming to the last, and he's not staying up strong to the line. To me, he's going to do a lot. He's going to exert a lot more energy than he needs to, no matter what way they race him. And I don't think there's going to be anything really left in the bonnet when it comes to the last. I think he's going to do too much before the race, even. As you said, in the parade ring and all the people around him, he could easily blow up. People say it didn't happen last year, but there's a big, I know it's still the first race of the first day of the first race of that day, but there's a big difference between the Supreme energy than the Friday energy. I just think he definitely could lose the head. I don't think the pace of the race is going to make any difference to him whatsoever. I just don't think he'll properly stay if they go a proper gallop. I think he'll over-race too much. And I think 3-1, I wouldn't be going near him whatsoever. Look, I'm happy to be wrong. I will be wrong many times.
But that's the thing. You can be wrong about him at 7-2 as a favourite. Like, I'm happy. I'm happy to be wrong. I'll if it stays the way it is, I'll end up backing something that's double figures anyway.
Like there's enough evidence there from his run last year and his run in the Moscow Flyer to suggest, he's very, very much one to take on. He's not bomb-proof by any stretch of imagination to be a 3-1 favourite.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I always feel like in the Supreme, like, even if they are going to hold him up, he can't miss a beat. I can only remember off the top of my head, there's one horse who made a mistake, Shishkin. Look at the ability he had to be able to get back up. He made a howler. But anyone else you sort of see miss a beat down the back straight down there, it's good night and God bless you. You lose your gap and you're gone.
And that's probably one of the fastest races that's going to be run the festival because the jockeys are all hyped up. Yeah. They're all full of adrenaline and mad to go.
And that's it, like 2 false starts and then he's already on his toes. Like you're in big trouble.
Andrew, you fancy that horse, don't you? Somebody just asked if I'd back to work ahead yet. I haven't. I wouldn't write him off. But he's not going to run before. So I actually think that's a really good idea if you read Henry's reasoning. Like, he was off for such a long time. He's had 2 quick runs back off him now, aiming at the Supreme. Like Henry, we don't have to talk about Henry and target training there. Sean has his theories about their little boat trips over to Cheltenham, but the reality is he's a hell of a target trainer. So yeah, I wouldn't rule him out. I know you're a fan as well, Andrew.
Yeah, I like him. I really like how he did it at Leopardstown over Christmas. Look, you can obviously say that his formative behind Jasmine DeVoe obviously hasn't worked out with Jasmine DeVoe not even forgetting how to jump, can't jump. But I just like how he did it from the front, his jumping, and how he put it to bed very quickly. I think he's a big raw horse. As Tom said, he's had a lot of time off, 678 days looking at it here. He's a 7-year-old, so he's a big, strong horse. He's probably ahead growth-wise and strength-wise than a few of these in the field. So I think he'd be cherry ripe to go. I think he was 25-1 when I backed him. I think he's short as 10-1 in the place. I think he has a very, very good chance. But obviously, he does have to improve, like many of them. Right. We are going to touch on 4 races from the Winter Millions and it has changed from Linkfield to Windsor this year, which I find very strange. I can't get my head. I watched Windsor back the first race meeting today, and I just can't wrap my head around it for some reason. But anyway, first one we're going to touch on is the Grade 2 Fitzdare's Lightning Novices Chase. 4 runners: Caldwell Potter even money, Gidley Park is 9-2, Personal Ambition 7-1, and You Wear It Well is gone out to 8-1. She was 10-3 about an hour ago, and the market has finally corrected itself because I didn't give her any chance at 10-3. Sean, we start with you. Caldwell Potter, big money horse. Haven't seen him until the start of the season when he came from Gordon's over to Paul Nichols. Done well on Chase debut. Maybe a few excuses for him at Cheltenham. Do you think this is his for the taking, or are we fearing Gidley Park?
Yeah, well, I had a look back at that Windsor meeting, as you said, and I seen soft ground, and geez, that looks like it's going to get that's going to have some taken, and I think he really needs soft ground, and I think it's going to be sort of right up the street. Now I always thought the market's no genius, but you look through, You Wear It Well. I thought she had a good comeback when she got picked up by the Gordon Elliott horse first time out, and then the second start she was beaten by Cherry Dam, and she looked to have gone backwards big time. Jumping wasn't great, and she was behind, and I just didn't like that. I don't like when mares start to throw in a stinker like that. You just don't know, and you can't trust them if they're going to be good enough. Gidley Park, I really, really liked coming into the season. I thought he could play a big hand, but at the defibrillating heart, first time out at Kempton, you couldn't be parting money with him. Just like you seen him at Kempton, it was 2 or 3 fences and he was gone from the get-go. I'd just be worried that might happen earlier on and your money's done early. And for that reason, I think you just come around to Caldwell Potter. He went to Carlisle first time, went right-handed, jumped out to his left, back around left-handed at Cheltenham. I think the ground might have been sharp enough, and fair enough, he's not better than Django Bay. I don't think he would have beat him regardless of the ground. I think he could have got closer to Springwell Bay if he had had deeper ground. And you see what Springwell Bay done the handicap. He went and bolted up by 9 lengths. You're getting even money, and look, I don't think it's the worst even money shot you could have in the world. If it stays soft around that Windsor, I think you'll take some pegging, because it looked like the first day you get out in front, you can sort of run riot, and especially Harry Cobden. I really like him off the front on a horse.
Tom?
Yeah, I agree with Sean. I think you'll find a lot worse even money shots than this lad. Gidley Park, as Sean said, you can't touch that after its run. After it's on the last day, defibrillating, irregular heartbeat, I think it was. Caldwell Potter, he made a mistake last at Cheltenham, but I think they were rattling on down to that. I think the problem there was Harry got an easy lead and he just took it and went steady. I actually think he stays quite well over 2 miles. He probably wants soft ground. So if this is soft ground, I'd expect him to go out and make plenty of use for him and not turn this into a sprint. This could be over kind of, I'd say turning in, but I don't really know where turning in is.
Turning 5 furlongs from home.
This could be over a few out anyway, put it that way. You Wear It Well. Look, the trainer Jamie Snowden's in absolutely fantastic form. There's a receipt of £7 mares allowance, but for me, she just hasn't been at the same level over fences as she showed on her best days over hurdles. And Caldwell Potter is surely better than her. Personal Ambition actually beat Django Bay over hurdles, which is a surprise. They've gone different ways now over fences. He's ran well over fences, in fairness to him. I don't want to knock him too much, but I'd be surprised if he has the class of Caldwell Potter. And God, if Caldwell Potter can't go and beat these 3, I actually think he's a pretty good bet at evens, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think he takes a lot of beating in this. You obviously forgive him his last run. I think the ground was so much against a lot. The ground went against him a good bit. It went a lot faster than he would have liked. Gidley Park back down to 2 miles after having a regular heartbeat. Look, he's by far the best of the remainder, but you can't touch him after that. He'd probably finish second. He'd follow him home. Personal Ambition, he's been improving with each run. He was second in the Grade 2 last time out, but he needs to step up again. You Wear It Well, as you alluded to, is taking backward steps since she's gone chasing. She has the tendency to throw in 1 or 2 horrendous jumps, so she'd be one I wouldn't be going near. Yeah, look, even money. I think it's probably the best even money shot you see this weekend. I think he'll take a hell of a lot of beating in this. Okay, he's a lot right for going for him, bar the way they go around, or is it even a figure of 8? I can't remember. But I think he'd be fine with it. Right, we're going on to Ascot now, and we're going to the Mares Hurdle, Grade 2. Kargese is entered up here. She's been the horse that's been attracting a lot of money this week since her entry. Take No Chances, Casa Momento, Oh Betty, All the Glory, and Bigger the Rest. Tom, we go back to you. Kargese, very, very good mare last season. Finished second behind Sargino and Malper last season. They kind of, after doing the same thing they done with Lossiemouth after her juvenile campaign, she had a lot of runs, and then they're giving her a break. This is more or less the same time period that they released Lossiemouth with last year. A lot of money for the Mares Hurdle, and it looks like the other two more than likely will be going to the Champion Hurdle. So this kind of leaves it wide open for her if she ends up winning this today, Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think there's a chance Brighter Days Ahead can go for the Mares, but that's one for another day. My notes for this were Kargese is at least £7 better than them. I think. I just think she is, to be honest. I just think she's better than these mares. She was very, very good as a juvenile last year, in a year where they were very, very good. Like, she's finished 3 laps behind Sergina. I know it's taking it literally, but I don't think any of these would get within 20 laps of Sergina. Never mind 3. And then she's finished second at Cheltenham behind Majra, travelled like the winner. She's maybe just got outstayed up the hill by him. But yeah, fantastic form. She's won her Grade 1 then at Punchestown. If she comes over here, to me, that tells me that she's fit and ready to rock. They're not going to bring her all the way over here if she's not. As you say, Andrew, the markets have spoken in her favour this week for the Mares Hurdle. So I presume that means she's working well. And I think 4 to 6 is probably another fair price. She's probably going to go off a bit short than that, isn't she?
Yeah. Sean, she was what? She was about 7 to 1, I think, on Monday. She's into a shortest 3 to 1. Do you read much into that in regard to Lossiemouth?
I would say people are probably looking. The fact she's in the entry list and people know that she's well and healthy and probably looking to run, the bookies tend to start cutting at that point, and people maybe place their bets if they were waiting to see how she was. I thought it was logical to bring her over with Eneregumene. I was listening to Paddy Mullins and he was on at the races. They were asking him and he sort of pushed the button and he didn't really say about bringing her over. He just really avoided and said she'd be out at some point this month. And I don't know. Look, if she comes over, I think she wins. I thought her mark was interesting. She got a mark of 141. I know they're not going to exploit a handicap, but geez, if they ever wanted to dip into one, that could have been exploited. But yeah, if she comes over, she takes the beating. But if she doesn't, I think that Take No Chances. Obviously the prices will change, but I think that Take No Chances deserves our spot. She'll be at the top, and she won first time at Wetherby. She then went to fighting 5th. And she was 5th. But she came back and ran at Cheltenham in a 2.5 mile handicap. And I think that handicap's going to work out. It was beaten by Woohoo. I think you'll see her in a handicap at the Cheltenham Festival. Joe Hughes was in 2nd, and she's one of the favourites for the Betfair Hurdle. And Take No Chances was back in 3rd that day. I just think it's a race that'll probably work out, and she had to give a lot of weight to them that day. And I'd say it'll probably work out in terms that it wasn't that bad a run to come toward. So if Kargese wasn't the rock up, I'd be looking at Take No Chances. But if she does, possibly the bet without market would be the way I'd be playing that.
Yeah, I can't add much more to that. So I agree with the lads with Kargese, and same with Sean. If Kargese don't turn up, with Take No Chances. Right, the race we all want to talk about: JONBON against Eneregumene, or in normal people's language, Energumene. Sean, we go back to you. JONBON currently sitting at 94 at the top of the market, Champion Chase. Energumene, 11-year-old, 3rd favourite. What way do we see this unfold? We know back in 2022, we probably seen one of the races in the last 5-6 years with Energumene against Shishkin. We obviously reckon that Energumene is going to take the bull by the horns here again. JONBON probably track. Does he have enough left in the locker at age of 11 to hold off JONBON?
Yeah, I've gone back. I had a look at the time, and I've gone back probably about 3 times in the Energumene run. Now, of course, you look and say Banbridge Fall, form boost. You're talking 2 and 3 miles, different sort of kettle of fish. And obviously, we didn't have the result as he came down. And I just don't I couldn't tell you what we seen of Eneregumene that day because look, although Banbridge has come down, he's gone and beat Dino Blue Appreciate, but they've been well and truly battered when they was ran next time out. So I just don't know what he's had to do there. Plus, I think the biggest thing coming into the weekend is ground. I think if he was to have a chance of beating JONBON, I think it'd have to be on deep ground where he gets out in front and make the most of him. I think you're going to get lively ground around Ascot. I seen it was like good to soft in places, like, and there's not much rain due. I'd say that's going to only be in JONBON's favour. And the ripe old age of 11, I don't think Eneregumene wants to be bouncing off top of the ground stuff. And that swings it for me. Like, I don't know what levels he's at, and I don't think he wants good ground. And you know exactly what JONBON is going to bring. He doesn't exactly perform around Cheltenham, but you can't say he doesn't. He's done it everywhere else. He's gone around Sandown. I can't see why Ascot's going to be that big of an inconvenience to him. I think you get the perfect setup of Eneregumene going off the front, and he'll just sit on his girth. And if Eneregumene isn't at his best, I think Nico will just take her up. If Eneregumene isn't going along, bowling along, we've seen Nico do before. He's taking her up down the back straight on him at Cheltenham. I think if there was any frailties in Eneregumene, he'd just go and beat him out the bat, and I think he'll take her up. He'll stay his forwarder, you know that. So if it gets into a battle, I just think on the ground, JONBON, I just don't know what Eneregumene we've seen, and I couldn't be backing him. I know he's sort of going out to that 5-2, 11-4, which is a bit of a worry as well, because you'd think if they thought he was near his best, the money had come from.
Tom, your take?
Yeah, it's a tough one. The thing that's swinging it for me is probably the prices. I know the ground. There's two factors here: the ground and the prices. And I just think Eneregumene should maybe be a little bit shorter than he is. He ran against Shishkin here at like the height of Shishkin's powers, and I wouldn't say it was that soft that day. It was definitely soft ground, and if it's good to soft, then yes, it's going to be quicker. But he was the winner everywhere until the last 50 yards, and that was the height of Shishkin. He likes the track. JONBON's ran here over hurdles. I'll give him that much, but he hasn't ran here over fences. Look, he should be fine around it. Cheltenham is up and down. He definitely doesn't like Cheltenham, but I don't know. The prices for me, I'd take a punt on Eneregumene at 5-2. I think he should be a little bit shorter than that. I think he should maybe be 7-4-ish. He's had a good reappearance. In fairness, there's no shame. Banbridge has gone on to win the King George. He was chasing him down at second, but I don't think he would have caught him. I just think the prices are too far apart. If this was 10-11, 7-4, I'd probably be saying JONBON. But for me, 5-2 Eneregumene, even though it is quicker ground, I'd have to take a chance.
Yeah, the way I look at this now, I won't be having a bet in this whatsoever. So this is literally talking my logic behind. Like JONBON, I've made known already that I think he's the lay of the festival. I just can't have him at Cheltenham whatsoever. But JONBON going right-handed on a flat track, he's near unbeatable. I think it'll take a huge performance from Eneregumene, especially at the age of 11, to beat him the second run after a year off. What's he going to be like? We saw Caldwell Potter, we just talked about. He had two kind of quick runs in succession after a back of a break, and he kind of blew up on the second one. What's he going to be like? Will he like travelling over again? We don't know. The ground. I just think this is JONBON's, even though he hasn't run over fence over here, as Tom said, right-handed flat track. I think he'll be near on impossible to be here, but back at Cheltenham for the festival, I'll be taking him on every day of the week. I won't take him on here. I think he'll take a lot beating, but I'd love to see Eneregumene win, but I don't think he will.
Yeah, no, you'd love to see Eneregumene do, but I think it's hard to work out where he was at the last day and the ground. I think the ground's a big swinger.
Yeah, you have to kind of consider then what injury did he have, how much.
Yeah, and then the dreaded bounce, isn't it? Like it's a second run back that bounce normally happens. Like you can get them cherry right first time, and
the kind of thinking I have behind horses who have been off a long time with muscle injuries or whatever, kind of injuries like that, they're obviously going to have a lot of groundwork done, a lot of dressage, and get build up muscle. So, and they're going to be a lot more forward than you would think for a horse having their actual first run of the season, which was just off for the summer. So they're going to have a lot of strength work be done on that particular area, and they're going to have to be a lot more forward than they usually would be. So how much improvement is left for him to come? Obviously, it's going to be a good bit. He's a big, huge bastard of a horse. So, look, I'd love to see him come forward and win. But I think just JONBON going right-handed, I think he's near on unbeatable. The only time JONBON has been beaten in his 3 times in his career has been at Cheltenham. And even if you go back to the times he nearly got beaten left-handed at Warwick, you have El Fabiola or Aintree. All his worst performances have come left-handed. So back right-handed, I think he'll probably win. Right, last race we are going to touch on is the Fitzdares Fleur de Lille Chase. Probably said that wrong, butchers. 2 miles, 6 furlongs. We have Protectorat in a 5-2. He can do one after the last day. Jello 4-1. Pictori has no hope in hell because this is not at Ascot. A high senior, Journey with Me, Indiana Dream having his first run for John Joe, 7-year-old, only having 3 runs in his whole career. God bless him, he's more injuries than me. Stage Star, Phil Dore, Le Patron, Tommy Bow, and so on. Tom, we go to you. Protectorat, last year's Ryanair winner, doesn't look the kind of same horse as last season. This is not his best. This way of racing doesn't bring out the best of him. Would you be willing to take him on at that prices? And Jello battered him last day. He looks the value to me.
Yeah, look, Andrew, I'm happy to weigh in that. My notes on this says never get any of these right. So skip.
Yes.
I literally don't like. I can't tell you any time that I backed Protectorat that he's gone and won. Jello, I've never backed him to have gone and won. I've backed what's his face. All right,
that fella, good horse.
Pictori. I've backed Pictori, but you just backed Pictori at Ascot. Any old idiot can get that right. Ahoy Senor never backed him to win. Journey with Me never backed him to win. Stage Star never backed him to win. Phil Dore, I'd have nearly gotten beat at 1-40 at Thurles, I think. I haven't a Scooby Doo, to be honest. Indiana Dream is the interesting one. If he's anyway fit, he's clearly got a huge engine. Moving over to John Joe is interesting. He's obviously had a lot of injuries, and I don't know. Maybe the gallops there are more suitable for him than they are at Close Sutton. I don't know the thinking behind that, but yeah, he's interesting if he turned up and he was fit. If there was any support from the market, but I just never ever get it right.
Sean, what about you? You want to get this right?
Yeah, look, I think you said it. The one to be on, I think, is Jello. You take on Protector, he's a 10-year-old, and I just didn't like what I seen the last day between him and Jane's Destiny. I don't think they didn't fill themselves with great light that day. And the Jello, in fairness to him, took the bulls by the horn. He was right up on the pace, and Charlie Dodge took her up 3 out, and it was game over from that point. And I think softer the ground, the better for this lad. As you touched on with Caldwell Potter earlier, I think the more, if you get rain or the ground stays testing around this place, I think it'll help. I also watch back. I'd say being up in the van is probably going to be helpful around Windsor. I don't think you want to be too far back. There's plenty of fences that come at you and a lot of running around the bend. I don't think you want to be making up a lot of ground, and he'll be bang up there. Like you said, Pictori, he's one for going out in front, but he's an Ascot specialist. I'd say he might just take a lead off Pictori. You can't trust the Hoy Senor. I never ever back that horse. And as you said, Indiana Dream is obviously the interesting one. I'd say John Joe Neal's gallops are not 10 feet deep like Willie, so he's kept him in one piece to get into a track. But yeah, I just think at the prices, Jello 4-1, I think he'd go off favourite on the day.
Yeah, I think the same. Like, there's been a lot of talk about him for the Ryanair. I don't get him for a Ryanair. I don't think he's good enough for
Yeah,
Ryanair.
the fact he left the home press out probably says, I don't know what you read into that, but maybe I might say something.
Probably does, to be honest. But I think he's a better 4-1. As you said, Protectorat, this is not his way of racing. Pictori, Ascot, a high senior, God only knows what they'll do with him. Be surprised if Henry sends him over. Kind of disappointed Jerry's not run here. I thought this would have been perfect race for him before Cheltenham. Soft ground.
I think they said he wasn't right, didn't they?
Is he not right?
They say he wasn't. Yeah, I think they said they.
Yeah, he said he hasn't been happy with it. He said he was going to stick him in an entry and see if he was happy, but he's just not sparkling. So.
Another horse broken by Galloping the Champ. But yeah, I think Jello will win. Right, now on to the Cheltenham Festival part of the show. I have what we put up last week. Myself and Tom only put up selections. Tom put up so far Nürburgring for the
Nürburgring. You can stick that 10-1 up your ass. It's 12-1. As the great Nico de Bonville would say, stick that where the sun don't shine.
What's the difference between a 12-1 loser and a 10-1 loser?
You're going to end up backing that horse. You are definitely backing that horse. He has got your name in all over him.
No, I'm backing Fern Glory against that fella. The festival will come now, and Nürburgring won't remember he's a horse, let alone how to race the way they've been riding him this year.
This is the issue. Nürburgring will discover around the second week of March.
I can have my head.
Again.
I can have my head back.
What's this 4-foot thing in front?
They're just going to stand in front of his stable in Cheltenham with like replays of the Galway Hurdle and be like, "Do you remember when you did this?" Yeah.
we're going to put little things on the side of your face as well, just to make it go that way.
Yeah. Ground, cheap pieces, and a more positive ride made the difference.
And the application of cash.
Oh, I cannot wait for it, lads. He just wins in my eyes.
You can see
he's got
now,
Joseph.
Goes off 4-2 favourite, falls at the first. Everybody up in tatters.
No chance. Nürburgring's too clever for that. He won't throw himself in the ground. Even when they're trying to teach him not to jump, he's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna hop around."
I couldn't believe the price he went off, and then the way they rode him at Leopardstown. Oh my god!
The first 50 yards, I honestly fell off the chair and laughed. It was brilliant.
Things you love to see.
How do you
begin of chasing Orland, and you're like the best horse in the race, round up last.
Yeah,
it's genius by jockey and trainer how to just make him go as slow as he is, get into the bottom of every fence without falling and hurting himself. It's
wider again.
Oh, look at that, an arse for horse. That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do.
Tom, the only worry was the only thing where it was, right? I got a little inkling. I don't know why. Remember last year we had this with Hartwood, and he went and done it at the Dublin Racing Festival. If he gets an entry in that race, he'll be shitting me bags. I won't lie.
Not a fucking chance that Joseph does that. Henry will just go and win whatever race is there like that, but not a hope in hell's chance. Joseph has got that race in mind for him.
And I just had that little inkling. I was worried to myself. I was saying there's a 2.5 mile handicap there at the DRF that happened last year. I just hope he doesn't do it then.
I will do. I'll fall down the stands if it happens. I literally crawl down it and I have to crawl back up because my ribs will hurt from laughing and falling. Right, Tom, what's the pick for this week?
Look, lads, as I said at the start of the show, I'm not that buzzed about Cheltenham yet, and I'm definitely not that buzzed about anti-post betting. Nürburgring has been my only anti-post bet so far, and we'll see. I actually don't. Sean has got one. I can't rob it on him. I've been taking the piss out of him about it, but I don't hate it for the Hunter's Chase. But I'll leave that. I think that's coming.
You come around to it now.
Yeah, I always didn't hate it. I don't agree on the price thing maybe, but the prices of a lot of these are horrendous. So we'll leave that one to Sean in fairness because it was his tip. But I'm gonna take a swing. There's some of these markets that I can't wait for closer to the time to get really stuck into. But the one I took a look at this week was the Albert Bartlett, which looks wide open. And there's a horse in there. Look, he's only 25-1 in the place, but he's 20-1 in loads. And that's Super Sunday, Willie Mullins' horse. Ran very, very well in the Supreme last year. Not sure how many horses have run in Supreme and then might go on to run in the Albert Bartlett, but he was off the track for such a long time, but he travelled really well and was only beaten 10 lengths that day. He then went and won a Ballon Road Maiden doing handstands as he liked. His seasonal reappearance when, a lot of Willies have been needing a run was in the Lawless and Ace behind the Yellow Clay. This horse, now he walked through the last But apart from that, Jesus, he jumped down the back like an absolute bunny. He jumped the second last, fantastic as well. And just galloped all the way to the line. I thought a step up and trip might suit him. I just don't see him going for. I don't think he's going to be quick enough to go and win a Supreme or a Turners. So I thought they might just take a chance and go up and trip for the Albert Bartlett. He's obviously got that form at Cheltenham last year where he's been there and had a look around. And 25-1, I thought you could do a lot worse than him.
Right. Before we go on to Sean's, I'll recap mine, give mine, then Sean can give his too. So he didn't give any last week, so he can have the time at the end. I've put up so far Gaelic Warrior 92 for Champion Chase, Yellow Clay 7-1 for the Turners, and Win Some, Lose Some 10-1 for the Pertemps. Short sweet this week, I am going for Dancing City in the Brown Advisory Novice Chase. I know it's more likely, Jesus Christ, my voice gone. I know it's more likely that Ballyburn is going to run here, but I'm more than willing to take on Ballyburn over a fence. If we go back and look at Dancing City's form last season, only got better as the season went on. I don't know if he's going to run into DRF. The prices does suggest he's not.
I suppose there is what's that, the 10 up and the
Navan. That could be the option for him because the Pierre Pass seems to be the horse and Ballyburn for the Ladbrokes Dublin Chase. But if we go back last season, he ran in 4 Grade 1s, won 3 of them. The only time he got beaten was at the Cheltenham Festival. But I think that if they rode him differently, he would have gotten a lot closer than he did. He ended up beating the Jukebox Man, reversing the form at Aintree, and then went on to be High Class Hero at the Punchestown Festival. Came back with a win against Shannon Ryle's, gone on to win since. He looked as big as a bull there. He done nothing on the run and idle all the way to the line. I think this test will be absolutely ideal for him. He's a horse that just finds and finds and finds and finds. He's like a mini undersow. He's an iron horse. You can throw anything at him, you just keep finding him. I think 7-1 right now is a good price. He's just going to get shorter at the closer we get to it because he's definitely going to go here. He's not going to go anywhere else. And 7-1, Dancing City for the Brown Advisory Novice Chase. Sean, floor is yours.
Yeah, look, I must hold my hat up. I probably should have done this last week, and it probably doesn't look great now because I found a clip this morning that the horse was actually put up yesterday and up in the ante. So,
Sean, before you even say it, I'll back you up here. You put this into our group definitely before yesterday anyway.
And if people don't believe, I'll screenshot the date and when he put it in. So he's not robbing it off his dad.
Yeah, I put it in last week, but I had to check. I had to dot a few I's and cross a few T's just to make sure everything was qualified and stuff. But it's Angel Dawn's in the Hunter's Chase. She's 8-1, and she's now qualified after two starts in point to points. But look, I'll run through from the start. I just think she comes in here into a division where you have it's on the line. He's had 2 bashes at it so far. He's been beaten twice, and I thought he had every chance last year before he was beaten. You have the winner from last year, Senan Nomine, who has been out in open company this year, and I don't know if they're going to go down that route, but if he is, I'm willing to take one on. You very rarely see a back-to-back Hunter's Chase winner. And this mare comes in here, and look, she's an open, she's a handicap staying races is her forte, and I'm deadly shocked they've gone down this route, to be quite honest with you. She's finished up last season off her highest mark of 142. She's got form around Cheltenham. She won the Kim Muir 2 seasons ago when she was beaten by Stumptown, where she beat Stumptown. And that's over course and distance of the Hunter's Chase. And I think she was going to run a big race last year. Now, she obviously wasn't going to beat, I know the way of thinking. He was a Grade 1 winner and a handicap. He was a right block. But she came travelling down the outside with him and unfortunately came down at the second last. But as I said, a mare that I don't think is on the decline. I think she's holding her form well, and the ratings would suggest she was at her best last season. And she's come out and she's had 2 point-to-point starts, and she's got herself qualified. She won at 1-20. She was supposed to go to Down Road on Stevens' day, but they opted not to go that way. It's on the line ren that day, and it was won by a David Christie horse, but they opted not, and they went down for a Hunter's Chase, and she's now qualified. I wouldn't be at all shocked. I think there's one at Nace or Navan just before Cheltenham if she got a spin in in an open Hunter's Chase there. But if not, I wouldn't be all against it. They'd probably keep her to another point and then rock up to Cheltenham. So you mightn't actually see her on your screens until Cheltenham Day performing. But I had a look. She's been winning as easy as you want. And as I said, in a market that I think like there's a lot there. It's on the line. It's 5-2 at the top. You have the second favourite in there. I just think her 8-1. She's a bit of value in there. I can see her fighting favouritism on the day. I think people will look to know she has track form. She goes well around that place. And I think she'll have a big hand. Like you're talking, she's a solid level going into a Hunter's Chase, in my opinion. I don't know if it's on the line. As I said, beaten twice, I wanted to take her on. And at 8-1, I think she's worth having a punt at now. And my second one is going to come in the Betems, and it's going to be the Wall Park. Trained by Gordon Elliott, bought by JP, and he went on a run in the summer where he had 4 wins between 2 mile 3 and 3 miles. I think it shows he has the pace for a shorter distance, and he also stays. He won the Betems qualifier in October where he beat Gale Road. I think he's only gone on to frank that form. He was second to Lucky Place in the Grade 2. And you've had 4 winners from behind that day. I think that's the strongest Betems qualifier we've seen this season. I was looking through, and I know it's a win and you're in now. It's a little bit different, but I haven't really been blown away by anything that's been in the places or something that's looked like a right blot. I know you have Andrew's horse that was in there, win some, lose some. He won off a mark at 125 the last day. I think they found a good opportunity for him to open up that. He's been put up £10, but I don't think he's in the same caliber as the Wall Park. And as you said, JP picked him up. He's went to the Long Walk Hurdle, and he's running the Grade 1. I think he could be up to that level, but I just don't think he's there yet. And I think that's why they're going to go down the handicap route with him. I think he needed a bit of time, and he's jumping. He jumped the third last, and he came off it. And I thought he showed good guts to dig in. He came all the way to the line. He charged down the straight. He's a mark of 152. You might say that's a bit high, but the connections have done it with Sir de Borlays back in 2020. He won off a mark of 152. And I think this lad is a potential Grade 1 horse. I just think he's a bit of work in progress and may need a bit of time. And I think that's why he might go down the handicapper route this season. And potentially I'm looking at him as a Grade 1 horse in a handicap in time to come. And I think at 10-1, I have a funny feeling this lad is going to be smashed up on the day. I think he'd be JP's number 1, Mark Walsh on board, and I'd say he could be a 3-1, 7-2 shot if Mark Walsh is up and he is number 1. So I can see that price coming down big time, and I want to have a go at a handicap.
So that's Angel's Dawn and the Wall Park. What price?
And people might give out to me for this, but I haven't got many tips, and I am robbing off Sean, but I put me down for Angel's Dawn as well. You've convinced me, Sean. I'm gonna go and have a bet on her after this race. Actually, yeah.
What price is Wall Park?
10-1, and Angel Dawn is 8.
10-1.
8-1 Angel's Dawn. In fairness, it's already into 6-1.
Moving markets, Polly, well done.
You look at the rest of the race. Like if she can run to that level, but the other thing for me is like jockeys are such a big thing in that race. You've got Parking on her, who's got such experience. He's won on her, and then obviously they fell at Cheltenham, but fell the last day. But like just watching that race back there, she was, she was the only one going with the winner. Like she wouldn't.
And he's a Grade 1.
Yeah, she'd have won if you take him out, which is a complete blip. She would have been second. So, I like that in fairness.
Now, it's a fucking first time for everything. On that note, we can't top that this week. We are back next week for Toyesti's preview. Is on Toyesti's next Thursday. So we're previewing that on Wednesday. We might have another anti-post selection, and then the week after we have the DRF preview. Until then, enjoy the weekend and go enjoy the football.